Hey everyone, a Tuesday update, a couple of free picks, and we'll talk about the Boston Celtics and Miami Heat who tee it off in the Eastern Conference Finals tonight. And we have kind of a big announcement and a crowd participation chore for you out there in YouTube land watching here. Today I'm going to ask, I have an ask. Let's see what the response, I'm interested to see what the response is. We'll get the free picks. You won last night. We just up front, we have a 7-unit WNBA top play. First top pick of the season, WNBA Today, game of the month. It's over at the website. You can get it for free by using that $60 link in the description below, and we'll park $60 in any new account. You can use it on the website wherever you want. If I'm not your flavor, there's 11 other flavors over there. So 12 of us in all. Doc's Consensus Service, which I know it's been hot, 11th Hour Sports, a bunch of them. So go over there and check out everything you got over there, and you can use it wherever you want to. I would invest it tonight with the WNBA for sure, for some of it. Okay. The big announcement here is, and the ask is, I have contemplated over the last year. I stepped away from the microphone in radio in 2018 after 21 years of being on the radio. It's a lot. You know, we had a national show on Sirius for 8 years. It was simulcast as part of either Yahoo Sports Radio or SB Nation Radio. I was on Armed Forces Radio for 20 years. I started out at a local ESPN station, hosted the Average Joe Sports Show with Bill Dolman for 5 years, and Chris Schmidt. Chris Schmidt's now host of Hell Varsity Radio. Chris has been on these videos for Nebraska previews. He knows the Big Ten and Nebraska about as well as anybody in the country. Also, Bill Dolman was the Mountain West television conference host for 2 years. For that, went defunct. He's called play-by-play for ESPN and Big 12 basketball back when Nebraska was in the Big 12, and he most recently did the Olympics for NBC. But we had a show there, and I co-hosted that for on and off for like 5 years. So I started out there and then grew into a syndicated show, went into national. I was talking about sports betting on the radio 21 years ago. Long before VSiN was even a thought, you know. And I was able to pull it off because I never had a boiler room. I never sold out, never had silver-tongued devils, call 1-800-CAN'T-LOSE stuff. Those guys would buy spots here and there on some stations in big markets, but weren't on Sirius talking about betting the football line. And I just stepped away from it just in time for it to become the Wild Wild West, where they started legalizing all these sports books. And all the things that I was told by lawyers I couldn't say now you can say. Well, the podcast is raw, unfiltered, sarcastic, satirical look at the sports betting industry. And free picks, and some fantasy thrown in with a fantasy guy that has a huge podcast. We're going to do it Tuesdays and Fridays for about an hour. Video podcast. And I'm looking for a name. I like the Average Joe Sports Betting Show, but kind of Average Joe's kind of ran its course. And I'm drawing a blank in my brain. I want something unique and catchy. I'm still thinking, if I use your suggestion, what do you think? Because this is raw and unfiltered and a different take on what you would consider a pod. Consider it like a Joe Rogan type look at things. We're going to bring in personalities. There'll be some Doc Sports cappers on there. You know, I'm sure Sprites will stop by, Upstone, maybe a couple others. But we're going to have people from out in this industry that are kind of well-known in the industry. Characters, all kinds of different, some sports guys. Reached out to some big names, and they've agreed to do it. And we're going to hit it off with a big kick. You'll probably see Sean Salisbury back every now and then, my good buddy Sean. He's doing his own thing now, still over at iHeartRadio, the huge talk show, and great unfiltered takes from him. So anyway, what do we name it? Up to you. I'm looking forward to it. That being said, let's get to Major League Baseball. Favorite and an underdog. And maybe even a totals play. Speaking of favorites, they went 10-2 on Monday. We passed in all sports yesterday. Your free play won. Favorites went 10-2 yesterday. Favorites on the year 316 to 202. That's 61%. Well, Tony never met a favorite he didn't like. Well, they're favored because they're the better team and they're proving it. 61%. If you were winning 61% of your Major League Baseball games and you never laid over minus 150 doing it, fat bankroll. I did it, I think 2019 was it? We were up over 186 units, 146 units, I think it was. Crazy. And we hit 61% for the season and never laid over 150. It can be done. Unders right now are not dominating, but they're besting overs 269 to 233, 53%. Pitching is winning by a little bit. I think pitching wins this game tonight. Underdog game. I take Seattle plus the 125 tonight over Toronto. Logan Gilbert on the hill for him. He's had a couple of tough outings, gave up 4 runs in each of those, but he's got a 2.13 ERA on the year, 38 innings pitched, 42 KOs. I think he'll give Toronto trouble because Seattle in this series better hitting team. They got beat 6-2 last night. It was 2-0, 6th inning, and then they let it get away from them late. And again, I've said it last year, and I'll say it again this year. If you let Seattle hang around, they can beat you. And Toronto ain't all that. This big all-star hitting lineup they got that we're just going to roll through people and win all these games. What are they batting? 217 as a team their last 5? Wow. A small lean on Seattle if you like an underdog. If you like a favorite, I take Minnesota over Oakland. Oh, can't hit nothing. Can't hit a bull in the ass, handful of rocks. Then under 7 looks good in that game too. A 1-0 game yesterday. Wouldn't be surprised to see 3-0, 3-1. I'd lean under there. I'd lean Minnesota. Now, Boston. Miami. Boston's favorite in the series, but they're an underdog tonight, +2. Why? Well, it's a coin flip game. But if you take a look at the resumes coming in here, Boston's a lot more impressive. Shutting down Durant, shutting down the Greek Freak. I mean, Miami got a layup with Atlanta. They got, banged up Joel Embiid. Philadelphia series, who basically was a one-trick pony, although Harden showed up a little bit, but they had a lot easier route of getting here. Boston's defense is showing up. It's going to be I have a totals play in this game, but I think it's a coin flip. If you like Boston, they're +2 right now. If you like Miami, I'd only lay it on the run line. I'd only lay it on the run line. I'd only lay it on the money line. I mean, I took Boston to win the series. There's your free pick. I told you I took them against the Bucks. I'm taking them in this series as well. Little discussion there. Nonetheless, let me know what you think about naming a podcast show. Put it in the comments section. I'll approve the ones that are, family friendly. Leave the F-bombs out of it. Because we filter this stuff out. We got links to other websites and all kinds of stuff getting posted in there all the time. And so we got to filter them out. And you got a bunch of haters coming in, this, that, and the other. But leave them there. 7-unit WNBA play tonight. A doubleheader in Major League Baseball. Going to go 2-0. And we have 4-unit plays in the NHL, 5-1-1 run, and in the NBA. Not doing so good. Tell it like it is. Not doing so good in the NBA. But we're going to win tonight with the totals play in the Heat and Celtics game. Doc Sports, that's where you're supposed to be. Come on. Booyah.